Well, hello again, and welcome to the stream on a fan-freaking-tastic Friday, I hope, for everybody. It's been a little rough the last couple of days. I'm still streaming, of course, but I don't know what happened. I think, I was working out yesterday, and I did something to myself which was unpleasant. My arm has been hurting a lot the last day or so I don't know what's going on with that, but enough about my complaining. You didn't come here for that. With that being said, we are back on the BTA kick. I was doing some thinking since last week. I think Friday was the last time that we played BTA. And I've been doing a little bit of research about some things that were kind of bothering me about the playthrough. And also just in general, sort of melling it over in my head. That's part of why we did astronauts for the last stream, is I wanted to give myself a little bit of a break, just to kind of process everything that was going on, because the last stream we didn't do so well. We had to withdraw from a couple of different contracts, which hurt our reputation, and just in general were bad for the company. But that's okay, because today we're gonna do better. I know we're gonna do better, because as I said way back, we're gonna get rich or we're gonna die trying. And that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop making stupid decisions, but I'm gonna try to maybe not make as many bad decisions, but we'll have to see how that turns out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I can promise nothing, or at least promise to deliver nothing. But yeah, so with that being said, we will get into the game, and here we are, right where we left off last time around. I did actually fix the emblem issue that we had the last go around, where I guess a BTA update had messed up the emblem that I had set for the company. I have since fixed that. But aside from that, we're sitting again right where we left off with the last stream, and it's not a great place for us to be, but all of our mechs are in good condition. All but one of our pilots is also in good condition. We are 1 day away from payday, which will be, according to this, a little over 500k. So we've still got in the neighborhood of 2 million C-bills to play with. And yeah, so I think rather than spend a whole lot of time faffing about and looking at where we are, because I think I put us in a good position in terms of setup for the next stream by making sure that all of our pilots were leveled up, and making sure that we had all of our mechs repaired and good to go. Although, now that I think about it, I do want to see, because I realized after looking into it that I may have been focusing a little too hard on vanilla strategies. And I wanted to potentially retrain my people, but I forget how much it costs. Oh, okay, so we have to have the training module too in order to retrain. But the reason that I was thinking I might want to retrain some of our pilots is because of this little skill right here, the multi-target. And I do focus gunnery on most of my pilots, just because, I mean, it's a tactical game in the vein of XCOM, so not having accuracy is bad, just in general. So I tend to focus gunnery with my pilots. The problem is that multi-target is not as useful in BTA as it is in, say, vanilla BattleTech, and even in Rogue Tech, for that matter. And there are also parts that will allow you to do that anyway. And so I feel like I should have been prioritizing Battle Lord, so multi-target just allows you to focus on multiple enemies, fire at multiple enemies in a turn. But if we go and look at Battle Lord, this is basically giving us 15% extra damage and additional accuracy. It does generate more heat the turn that you use it, so any of our weapons would generate more heat when we use it. But I think that's a pretty acceptable payoff for the ability to do more damage at higher accuracy. So I definitely feel like I kind of screwed us in the early game by not taking Battlelord on more of our pilots. But again, I don't remember. I think it's either 50k or 500k to retrain our pilots. So that may either be a cost sink, or it may also potentially be just, I guess, a pipe dream that I have to ignore and potentially replace our pilots. Another thing that I found out was I had been complaining in previous streams about the lethality, because apparently lethality has changed, where I thought that making the game more lethal in the settings, in the campaign settings, would actually make our pilots more apt to dying when the mechs get destroyed. That is not, in fact, what actually gets changed. So the lethality setting, apparently in BTA at least, only affects headshots. So basically, if somebody gets headshotted with a Gauss rifle or something and it destroys the head, in vanilla BattleTech, there's only a chance for your pilots to die. They may still survive even if they don't eject. Whereas by turning the lethality all the way up, that makes it so that if the mech does get the head location destroyed without ejecting, that pilot is guaranteed to die. So turns out the meat grinder of everybody dies all the time and the game effectively turns into XCOM is a little harder to replicate in BTA, just because of the way the lethality setting works. And that's not a problem. It just, it will change the expectations that I have. Where I was expecting every downed mech to potentially be a dead pilot, it turns out maybe that's not the case. And again, that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It just, it changes up my expectations and it changes the way that I'll approach the campaign. Of course, we have lost a couple of people. We lost someone who went MIA in the very first stream. And then I think we lost Trident in the last stream, who was one of our primary Whitworth pilots. So it doesn't mean that pilots don't die. It just means that they're not dying as much as I expected. And given the difficulty of the campaign so far, that's probably not a bad thing. But anyway, let's get into the command center here and let's see what kind of missions we're looking at, because we need to make some money and we need to make it fast. So we've got a recovery mission, relatively small in terms of payout, but it's in a polar region, which is good for our heat. And it's also a 1 skull, so this one we could probably handle without too much issue, and I don't think there's too much of a problem with recovery. Let me remind myself. Let's see. The unit that picks up the recovery target will be attacked by enemy forces and thus should be able to withstand some punishment. So this is, I think, if I remember this mission type correctly, and it has been a little while since I did a recovery mission. But yeah, we basically need to go to a place, get a thing, and then once we have the thing, we either have to escape or destroy all enemies. So I don't know how I feel about it, but at the same time, let's just go ahead and do it. And unfortunately, that's going to put us up against Comstar, and that could be rough. But I'll go ahead and we'll go with some salvage here. Again, I'm trying to prioritize more salvage than payout, because it's only after I got started in this that I began to realize I'm kind of screwing myself by taking money over salvage, because the salvage oftentimes is worth way more than whatever the payout is going to be. And so really I should just be taking salvage and then selling whatever we get that I don't need. So I'm going to focus more on salvage than payout going forward until such time as that gets us in financial trouble. But yeah, so we're going to get the mission started here, and we will run our lance as we typically do. I just want to double check and make sure that nothing got messed up in the meantime. I did realize that we got Quagmire in a spot of trouble here, so we may need to go back and hire ourselves another pilot for a vehicle. So let's have a look at that and see what pilots are available. Hello, Game Master. How are you today? Good to see you. Well, good. Glad to hear it. I'm glad that you are happy and having a good day. That's always good news all around. Well, I'm glad I could be here for you to see me. Let's see. I think probably, I guess Karek or Temek, or I'm not sure how you want to pronounce that, but I'm thinking this guy's probably going to be our best bet in terms of backup pilot. Just because they have the ability to pilot both mechs and vehicles. And I would like the flexibility, so I think we'll go ahead and hire them. Oh, don't worry. Hey, payday is in 1 day, Game Master, so you will be getting paid shortly. Let's head into the barracks. I don't think we're going to be able to level this person up just yet. Yeah, not yet. So they need to actually get stuck in. But yeah, we'll go back to the command center and head off to this mission here. Now that we've actually got a new pilot. Right. So we will put Carrick, and I'm just going to say Carrick because I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly anyway. Now, we never agreed to that. I know that's what you wanted for payment, but we never agreed to that. Let's see. I think we're in good shape, yeah. Yeah, I don't, we're just gonna go with it. YOLO. YOLO. Did I say that? I feel like I didn't say that. I feel like that's not a thing that I would say. But if I said it, then I guess I'll have to do it? Probably? Ugh. I feel like I'm being tricked here. Well, I'll tell you what. No, you're right. I remember that. I did say it would be better for me. I was thinking with my wallet at the time. I'll tell you what, you'll have to see me after class, and we can talk about that. In the meantime, again, we're in a recovery mission, so it's effectively this game's version of a fetch quest. We're gonna go to a place, pick up a thing, and then try to escape with that thing. Although, with us fighting against Comstar on this one, it might turn out a little rough, because Comstar can be a little tough to fight sometimes, depending on what they put on the field. Oh no, don't worry, Game Master. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm calling myself an old fogue that has bad memory. I often forget the things that I say, especially when it's been, well, at this point, I think it's been a week. But so far, to answer your question, my day has been good enough, I guess. I never like having to run errands and stuff, which is what I was doing this morning. But aside from that, it was fine. I don't like dealing with the government, and that's part of what I had to do today, so. But now that that's out of the way, I would say my day is vastly improved. Alright, so we've also got fog on this mission, so that's going to hurt our accuracy. Hopefully not too much, but we do start off with the evasion, so it looks like we need to get down into a little base structure here, and already we're detecting some vehicles. 35 tonners, so not a disaster. And then the target zone, I guess this is the support lance? Or maybe this is our escape zone. Yeah, I think this is our escape zone. So we need to get here, we need to potentially escape here, or alternately we can just destroy everything. So yeah, I guess we get started. Oh, that's right. The game kind of borks out a little bit.
Standing by.
once again, we have battle armor on the field, which typically has not worked out very well for the person in the battle armor, because I still have yet to actually put any handholds on any of my mechs, and I'm probably hurting myself by doing that. Well, I'm not hurting myself, but I'm certainly hurting the pilots. Get a 20-ton mech, so this is probably a scout mech of some description. With this being a recovery mission, I'm not 100% sure if we'll be able to just wait this out and kill all the enemies before we go down and actually take the objective. And I'm actually beginning to wonder if it's even possible to get down off of this mountain. I guess we can go this way. Like, the way down the mountain for vehicles, anyway, appears to be extremely limited.
Understood. Moving fast.
We do have some mechs with jump jets, so getting down from here will be much easier for them, but yeah, that's concerning. And that's just, unfortunately, a side effect of, oh my, okay, so we've got another mech coming up from the other side. But that's just one of the weird issues that BTA and Rogue Tech both have with their map generation, is sometimes you will be put in a place that you can't move out of without jumping. And so for, like, vehicles, and if you've watched any of the previous streams, you've probably seen that a couple of times, where a vehicle will be stuck on a spot and we can't really move them.
Commander?
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Game Master, but at the same time, you shouldn't necessarily put someone else's happiness over your own.
Commander?
Oh yes, this lady whose voice I don't like. So let's see, what is this? This is an LRM Scorpion. So this vehicle we did not see initially, but we ought to be able to do something to him now. I think if we go here and give ourselves a direct line of sight, LRMs and SRMs, yeah, unfortunately they've got the beginning of ton evasion bonus, so we're not going to be able to hit them no matter what we do. And in the meantime, I think we might want to go over here, because this is a 25-ton mech, so it's probably a scout mech of some description, which means I might be able to take them out easily, but I also don't know if there's a way up the mountainside here. There may not be, so I don't know. We'll play it by ear. It's just a 25-tonner, so at the end of the day, it's not going to be a gigantic threat, I hope. I feel like I say that often enough and end up being wrong that I should probably stop saying it. So we can only shoot at this guy, and again, he's got first turn evasion, so I'm not going to waste any ammo. That's fair. That's fair. I also like other people to be happy as well. Unfortunately, the cynical part of me has learned over time that there are a lot of people that will take advantage of your happiness, or will take advantage of your desire to make them happy.
Commander?
But yeah, I'm right there with you in that I like to be happy, and I like to make other people happy where I can. Another thing I realized that I needed to do, and I didn't do it before we started this mission, but I should do it when we get out of the mission, is take these vehicle flamers out of the Whitworths and replace them with actual mech flamers, because the vehicle flamers take up a lot more space, and I don't know how they compare in terms of damage. But they certainly do not necessarily fit the bill in terms of what we need on our mechs. Let's see. So we've only got one shot, we've only got 10 ammo. I'll take the shot, why not? Oh, very nice. Look at that. So right away, Game Master snaking that first kill with the AC-20. One shot, one kill, just the way I like to see it.
What are your orders, Skipper?
And here's Whiplash and our Alvin APC. And this guy has gotten screwed by RNG a bunch of different times. For whatever reason, Whiplash and his APC always seem to be the ones on the receiving end of the RNG that stops us from moving. It seems like every time that happens, it's always the APC on the receiving end.
Commander.
So Brick is the last one that needs to move for our side. And most of the enemy have moved as well, so we might be able to take some shots here. We'll just have to see. So we've got a Saracen. Which version of the Saracen? Just SRMs and LRMs? Okay, so it's not the most dangerous thing on the field, but of course, as always, we want to try and take as many vehicles off the field as we can. So we can either take the shot with decent accuracy on the missiles, or I could do a sensor lock on this guy, but being that this is basically the end of our turn, I don't think it's worth it. So we'll take the shot. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Targeting for an alpha strike.
I don't expect that we will kill him, but we can do some early damage. Yeah, we took some decent chunks of armor off of him. It is definitely good having those streak missiles.
They've got a sensor lock on me.
With obviously the streaks are all or nothing. Either the missiles are gonna hit and they all hit, or they're gonna miss, and if they're gonna miss, they don't fire. So that's very useful, and at some point I would like to upgrade more of our mechs to the streaks, but again, we're still in the early game portion where things are a little rough. I think I'm gonna put the battle armor here in the woods. We're kind of in a bad position for battle armor, and I don't know that they're gonna be terribly useful on this mission unless we get charged. But just based on the weapon systems that I'm seeing on the enemies, most of them are going to want to hang back. The enemy is primarily long range, so they're going to be trying to keep their distance from us.
Good to go.
Let's see. Really, I think we will be better served by putting our Scorpion up high up here on this ridgeline. Get the accuracy bonuses on an Ultra AC5. Unfortunately, I don't know if we will be able to just kill everybody to end the mission on this, or if we have to escape. Again, it has been a while since I did a recovery mission, so I'm not super familiar with the mechanics. I hope we can just kill all the enemies. And I think, yeah, that's our light mech friend over here. I think they might be confused and they're trying to get up the hill to us, but maybe the AI is having some trouble because this ridgeline doesn't actually have any path.
Systems holding.
And of course, you can see there, the computer likes to focus down the trebuchet because the trebuchet is a support mech, and it is, even at max armor, it's still very lightly armored compared to other mechs in its class. And so the computer tends to focus trebs a lot just because they're easy targets. I kind of want to get down off the mountain with the Panther, but I do also still kind of want the accuracy bonus from the elevations. I think we'll sit up here for one more turn. And we will fire full alpha at this Saracen. Again, we're taking chunks out of him.
Ready for orders.
And then I think it's time for our Whitworths, garbage that they are, to start getting stuck in. So let's go ahead and see about jumping down.
Acknowledged.
That'll give us a little more visibility on what we're dealing with, so we still got that. But we've only got a shot on the Saracen and only with SRMs. That is unfortunate. I was hoping we'd have some shots on these vehicles. But that's okay. We'll just go ahead and brace up. It may take us another turn before we can actually get our people down off the mountain and get into the actual fight. But with it being mostly light vehicles and light mechs, if we can go ahead and wipe out the enemy resistance on the map before we hit the target zone, that will make dealing with any reinforcements much easier. I am actually kind of surprised at the showing here, and I think it's got more to do with difficulty than the faction that we're fighting, but I expected more, I don't know, danger from Comstar?
Copy that, Commander.
And again, it is a one skull mission, so it might just be because, you know, it's a low intensity mission. We'll take the pulse lasers. We did actually get a hit on that. But as always, my sort of meta strategy is if I don't have a decent chance to hit, I'll still take the shot with the lasers. Especially in a polar environment where we're getting some heat reduction bonuses. Alright, let's see.
I live to serve.
So do we have a shot on anybody, is the question. It looks like we've only got a shot on the Saracen down here, and we have 85% accuracy, so even with an AC-20 at that range, if we hit, we could very likely destroy this Saracen, so I'm going to take the shot. Let's see what happens.
Roger that.
So we did get the hit, did not get the core, but that's okay. We have unsettled the pilot, although I don't think vehicle pilots can actually eject. In the meantime, we'll start bringing our APC down off the mountain. And we might as well do a sensor lock. I think the Saracen's probably the best bet. That's the enemy that we've been focusing down this whole time. So let's go ahead and we'll give our people a accuracy bonus with that sensor lock.
Aye, aye.
Which will hopefully work well for our trebuchet. Unfortunately, we can't use the streaks because we don't have direct line of fire, but I will go ahead and take the shot with the LRM-15. And there we go. Outstanding.
Tango down.
Outstanding.
Hot damn, let's do this.
And we've got our battle armor again. I really don't like having them out here like this, but I'm just gonna leave them.
I'm here.
I do sometimes feel like bringing battle armor is pointless because I keep staunchly forgetting to actually put handholds on one of my mechs, and that's part of the reason that I want to switch out the vehicle flamers on the Whitworths. So that by doing that, I'll give myself some room in the mech to actually put the handholds that our battle armor will be able to use.
Orders?
Because battle armor is extremely slow and kind of useless if you can't get them into combat. Last time I ran the Scorpion up to the edge of a ridgeline to take a shot, it got destroyed. I'm gonna hope that that doesn't happen this time.
Damn it.
Missed both shots on an Ultra AC-5.
Commander.
That's impressive. And of course, even though this is a Panther, I did strip the jump jets off of it, which in hindsight probably wasn't a great idea. But I'll go ahead and stand and deliver here. See if we can take some shots at this Stinger. It's only a medium laser Stinger though. Yeah, screw it. We'll go ahead and take the shot. And we'll miss almost everything. I don't necessarily have a problem with hugs. I just, I'm very particular about that type of thing. Then again, I've never been much of a hugger anyway. Did that light mech find a way up the hill after all?
Reporting minimal damage.
Or are they just shooting... Maybe they're just shooting missiles indirectly?
Waiting for orders.
Who knows? Anyway, let's go ahead and jump ourselves down the next level. And that's probably going to... Oh no, I expected that to affect our accuracy much, much more than it did. Well, screw it. We're in a polar environment, so we'll use the vehicle flamer as well. As flamethrowers in general are very, very good against vehicles and battle armor. I try not to break my promises, but as I said before, the payment, as previously discussed, did not seem in character for me. It didn't seem like a thing that I would say, but like I said, you'll have to see me after class for that one. And we've got the SRMs. Unfortunately, we are not in range with the vehicle flamer, but we can shoot everything else. I do think it's weird they don't actually change the model for the Scorpion, even though it's the LRM version, so it still has a tank cannon, even though that particular version of the Scorpion does not have a cannon. And our boy Game Master sitting up here on the ridge with his big honkin' gun. So let's see, if we go here, 70% accuracy. I'm definitely not gonna... I'm gonna turn my nose up at that. And once again, Game Master, with this AC-20, you are quickly becoming one of our all-star players here. That Employee of the Month plaque might be in your future after all. And then Whiplash with his APC. Thankfully, we should be able to just walk around our vehicles. But let's potentially throw a sensor lock out there. I don't think we actually have many people left, unfortunately. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw the sensor lock on the Stinger, just to reduce some evasion. And I think that just leaves us, yeah, with a Treb. And we're not gonna have a direct shot at him no matter where we go. And unfortunately, I was just sitting here ragging on multi-shot because I never use it. And then it turns out this is the one time when I would actually have used multi-shot if I had it. But instead, I think we will take some shots here at the tank, because we've got good accuracy across the board. I'm not going to waste more Art of Thor LRMs. I'm just going to take the shot here. Yeah, I was going to say, I figured the lasers would do it, but I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, now it's on.
Alright, so we're down to just 2 light mechs left on the field. We did secure the optional objective, which is good news. So now we see if we can take out these last couple of light mechs before we actually grab the objective. The correct objective. I guess I'll start moving the battle armor down. We could potentially jump down the ridge line, but they can actually sprint farther than they can jump. And again, with them being light mechs, I don't know that battle armor would be especially useful in this mission anyway. Props to this Stinger pilot. They got balls of steel. Got this entire mercenary company coming down the ridge, destroying all of his friends. And he just says, you know what? Hold my beer. And proceeds to charge right at us. So, yeah. Respect for that guy. And we don't actually have a shot. I thought we would. Well, my bad. And it's a mongoose. Which could be bad, depending on what kind of lasers those are. Let's see, what kind of mongoose are you? Just regular medium lasers? Okay. That's not the end of the world. Class, it's like school. When I say, come see me after class, it's like when the teacher says, hey, we need to speak after class, that kind of thing. That's what I mean by class.
Copy.
I mean, I don't have a teacher get up in my closet, but that doesn't mean I haven't been thinking about it.
Confirmed. Here we go.
And once again, PPC versus light mech usually doesn't end well for the light mech.
Yes, Commander.
So I think we head up the ridge here and take some shots at this mongoose. See if we can take care of this thing early.
Confirmed.
Did not do hardly anything to that guy.
Damn it.
Oh, that's because you did in fact miss every shot. But we set the forest on fire at least. I think well, now I don't want to give them a height advantage. So maybe I do the opposite and I jump up here to give myself a height advantage and then fire down on the guy. Yeah, I think that's the smart money. There we go. Hit him with the full alpha. Destroyed the torso. Injured the pilot. Good stuff. Good stuff. Special classes are reserved only for the remedial students. And so far you've been doing pretty good. So I would say no actual classes.
Knowledge.
But I still have to teach the rest of these jokers how to do their job.
Farewell, sweet prince.
And once again, Game Master with this AC-20 out here on a wheel, basically just cleaning house, killing everything on the field. And I'm beginning to think that there is not, in fact, a way down off of this mountain for our vehicles. So we may have to rely on the Whitworths to do all of the work, since they are the only mechs that we currently have equipped with jump jets.
Standing by.
Is there... yeah, there's no way to get direct line of sight. Okay, and... well, okay, maybe we can run down this side of the mountain, but then we'd have to go all the way around here. That's a hell of a path. I really don't want to do that if I don't have to. Oh, no, wait, there we go. There's a direct line of sight. Although the accuracy is terrible on that. So I think rather than shoot at him this turn, we'll just go ahead and throw out a sensor light.
Locked on.
It's a mongoose, so he's got a lot of
Show me what
evasion.
you've got.
I would appreciate it if you did not make unintentional mistakes just for my attention, considering that you are currently fielding the most powerful weapon in the company, and I really need those shots to hit. So
Commander?
no, you're doing good. You're doing good. Continue to do what you're doing.
Move order received.
It's taken some hits, but for whatever reason, this mongoose has decided not to move, and he might just be in a spot where he can't go any farther. Yeah, I think this ridgeline is actually blocking him from getting any closer to us.
Standing by.
So yeah, we're actually having the opposite problem now, where they can't move, and it doesn't look like we can either. And so we're having some genuine difficulty actually reaching the enemy, which is not the issue that I thought we were going to have today. But thankfully, vehicles have got a lot of move speed. Let me see. Panther, do you have a shot? If we crawl you all the way up here on top of this rock, you should.
Location confirmed.
And then we can switch over to the SRMs for that short-range firepower and take the shot. Very nice, very nice.
That was a critical hit. Standing by.
And then here, I think, can we... yeah, we can jump up to a slightly elevated position. And then take more shots. We're doing alright on the heat, but I think I'm going to turn the flamer off just so we can keep everything under control. And that's going to destroy arms, lasers. We're severely hampering this guy's ability to do damage to us, which is absolutely what we want to do. Then I think we'll jump down our other Whitworth so that we can actually claim the objective, and then we'll have to see what kind of trouble lands on us once we actually grab the objective. Because I suspect there will be some reinforcements flying in at that moment. And unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to be able to get this AC-20 anywhere useful this turn. We'll start moving down the ridgeline.
Yup.
Some of you here. Throw out a sensor lock again.
Sensors locked on.
And that will give our Treb a little more accuracy on the missiles. And hell, we'll even go crazy here and throw out some Battle Lords. Increase the damage, increase the accuracy. Yeah, we're gonna risk overheat, but I think it's a risk worth taking.
Confirmed.
So we did a cooling crit on the Mongoose.
It's go time.
Not sure how useful that's gonna be, considering that the guy is basically on the verge of exploding here. Oh, well, you know what? He's still got enough fight to take shots, so... Once again, props to the pilots in this regard. As usual, Comstar and their fanatical devotion to the idea of killing the enemy is surprising. And actually, we may not be able to get through here at all. I don't know if we can actually get a vehicle through this pass. We'll have to see. Again, very, very rough map generation this time around. How do I like to be called? I mean, in terms of... Oh, yeah, I mean, you can call me what you like, as long as I know you're talking to me. But boss is fine, Maria is fine, Mari is also fine, or Mary if you're American. Yeah, it's fine. I generally don't use the last name just because that was no, that's unacceptable. I'm not royalty. I refuse to claim a crown. But now, I have been in places where I was referred to by my last name, and those were not pleasant places, so, I don't particularly enjoy being called by my last name. Well, good to hear, Stu. I'm glad that I inspired you to play BTA as well. It's, at least as far as my opinion is concerned, it's a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoy it as well. I don't know if it's your first time, or if it's just you coming back to the game after a while, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoy BTA. So glad that I could convince you to pick it up as well. Alright, let's see here. I think, hopefully, I mean, we're sitting at 99% chance to hit on both of these. Hopefully this will be the coup de grace and finish this up for us.
What say we take it to him?
You know, somehow this man continues to survive. Well, thank you, Game Master. I do very minimal editing in the VODs, but I try to do a little here and there just to cut out, like, dead space and like, whenever I do a BRB and stuff, but that's really all I do. I also try to break them up into smaller chunks. I would hate to ask you guys to sit down for 5 hours and just watch me ramble the whole time. So I try to break it up into smaller chunks so that you can kind of, you know, watch it when you like. Alright, so this is gonna be the shot, right? We're actually gonna kill this guy now? There we go, there we go.
One less target.
I'd be more disappointed about the salvageable parts on that, but it's a mongoose. Alright, so now it looks like we've gotten all the enemies off the field. I am now going to move in and attempt to take the objective. Yeah, Stu, I agree. I think the Argo was a great decision, just because it adds that at least for me, it adds that little bit more strategic element to the game in terms of actually managing the Argo and all the engineering upgrades and stuff, which is something that a lot of BattleTech games is missing. And even stuff like Mech Commander and Mech Commander 2 back in the day, even those games that were ostensibly strategic games didn't have a huge amount of strategy. So yeah, the Argo, I think, is one of the missing links to really making a BattleTech game click for me. But if you have hundreds of hours in BTA, then feel free to point out any tips or tricks. I mean, I have a lot of time in the game as well, and in the BTA mod specifically, but there are a lot of features that I just didn't know about and have completely missed. Like a couple of streams ago, somebody had told me about the shift clicking on reserve to have your entire team reserved to 1. And, like, I didn't even know that was a thing. It's a super useful feature. I just never knew you could do it. So, you know, if you know anything like that, feel free to speak up. Because I may have a lot of time in the game, but I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, well, look at that. The game has now finally recognized that there are no enemies on the field and is allowing us to do, well, not real time, but the closest we're gonna get to real time. Okay. We're gonna get into the target zone here, and we'll have to see what the game's gonna throw at us when we do.
Roger that.
In the meantime, I'm gonna keep most of our people where they are.
Moving to position.
Okay, so we can get through this pass.
Heading out.
Good. But, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, considering the way that a lot of our missions have gone recently, especially in the last stream. I'm a little worried what the game's gonna throw at us when we do actually take this objective, but we will see. Alright. So now we hold position. And
Rolling.
hopefully that will be the end of the mission.
Keeping it cool.
I'm gonna sit tight and cool off here.
The asset has been secured and is ready for retrieval.
Okay, so we need to get to the evac zone. We could potentially secure a secondary facility. Is that what's over here? Okay, so where's our evac zone? Okay, so here's the evac zone. So I think we head over here. If there's a secondary objective, I think it's absolutely worth going after. The only problem that we're going to run into is the same problem that we've had the entire time, which is we don't really have a way down off the mountain other than this pass way over here. So it's going to take a long time for our people to get there. Especially the mechs.
I'm there.
Because again, we don't have jump jets on most of these. So it's going to be a little rough. I apologize in advance, but I'm going to have to spend quite a few turns here just running our people around this ridgeline to actually get them to the evac zone.
On my way.
Potentially, as I said before, we might be able to just kill all enemies to end the mission. Which makes me think that there are probably some enemies up here at this secondary facility. I guess we'll sprint to cover. I mean, we're not picking up anything on sensors. So maybe the only reason that the mission hasn't ended is because we haven't completed the last secondary objective.
I'm your spaniel.
Is there even a way for a vehicle up here? Like, I don't know if a vehicle... I guess there's a ramp over here.
Location confirmed.
And there we go.
And forward.
battle armor, thankfully, does have some jump jets, so I can, like, run them up the hill here and then... God, would you go to the forest tile?
Moving out.
And then I can just jump them over this ridge line.
Moving to position. Rolling.
Yeah, I know this isn't the most exciting gameplay, but I apologize for that. It's, again, we just happened to get a little bit of a doo-doo roll on the map gen, so... It happens. I will take some goofy map generation over the other problem that vanilla BattleTech had, where you find yourself constantly in roughly the same maps over and over again.
Copy that.
Waiting for orders. Onward.
Yeah, I would like to see destruction as well, but I think we're at the point where we've killed all the enemies, and now we just need to complete the objective so we can get out of here. I'm hoping that once we do that, it will automatically complete the mission and not make us run up here to the evac zone, but we will see.
Roger. Venting heat.
So we can jump here. That will get us over the ridgeline with the battle armor.
Secondary asset
Yeah,
computer.
there we go.
Bring it
Nice.
home.
Outstanding. So yeah, the issue was that we had another secondary objective that hadn't been completed yet, so once we completed that, it went ahead and gave us the mission. So that's good. Not sure what we're going to see in terms of salvage, but hopefully it's some good stuff. With the light mechs, possibly some XL engines. We did actually increase our pay because of all the additional objectives that we completed, so that's always good to see. We're getting our mercenary rating back up again after having tanked it with a couple of withdraws. I guess technically we took some damage. Let's see. What do we have in terms of salvage? Anything worth it? I think we take the 225 engine just for the money. How much is a Beagle worth? Not as much as I thought. Let's see. Streaks wouldn't be a bad get. Grab the Streak LRM-10. Because more streaks is always good. And we could potentially grab the ER large laser. But because we're in the early game... it might be a better idea to grab some streak ammo because we don't have a lot of that either. So I think we'll do that, and then we'll see what other salvage it gives us. This gave us some mech parts, some short-range missile launchers. So let's go ahead and sell some of this stuff. They got streak SRM ammo. Okay, that's fine. Might hang on to the Guardian ECM. I think we'll sell the Stinger part. Oh, right, we can't sell mech parts in here. Well, you've done a good job so far, Game Master. The AC-20 definitely put in the work on that mission. You got the majority of the kills. And that's why I wanted to upgrade you, because that little galleon tank with a couple of medium lasers on it was certainly not getting the job done. I mean, it's nice to have on the field as backup, but we were having to rely on those lasers a little too much. So getting an AC-20 Hetzer on the field has been a huge boon to our combat capabilities. Especially since we don't have any mechs that can currently field ballistics at this point, which is still immensely frustrating to me. Let's see, we can go ahead and repair the Whitworths. They only took some armor damage, so not gonna cost us a whole lot. We'll take a day or two, but that's not a big deal. So yeah, I think we're in good shape. Let's go ahead and fast forward, and tomorrow is payday.
Got a new financial report for you, Commander.
And there it is. Now, why did our operating expenses go up by almost $30,000? Oh, because we hired a pilot. That's what it was. I was a little confused, but then I remembered. I definitely would never forget that I hired an employee and then immediately sent them into combat. Let's go ahead and fast forward to get the Panther back up and running, and we are in good shape. So, let's have a look at the command center. see if any new missions are available. No, it looks like more of the same, and I don't like the look of these missions, to be perfectly honest. We do have a battle here. It's a 1 skull for the Taurians, but it's in the desert. Eyewitness reports describe very old mechs in colors from a conflict long since ended. You are to show these old mech warriors that the war is over for them as well. So we could potentially end up in a fight against heavier mechs or quote-unquote better mechs. But the payout is pretty low, so I think that might be a good one. We'll go ahead and try that. But first I want to hit the store and see if the shop has rolled over, and it looks like it has. Okay, so I see an Arrow 4. I want to buy an Arrow 4. I would love to have an Arrow 4 battery for us to use, but I don't think we can spare the 1.2 million C-bills to do it. If you don't know, again, if you're unfamiliar with BattleTech, Arrow 4 is a long-range artillery missile. If you remember from several streams ago, we were getting hit by missiles with huge AoE damage. That's the Arrow 4. And we do have the Hollander that has an artillery mount point, so we could absolutely put this on the field. But again, that's going to be a very expensive buy, and do they even have ammo for it is the question. And they do. Oh man, that's really tempting. An Arrow 4 is so good, and I really wish we could buy it, but we need to save our money. AC-20 piercing ammo would be great if I could actually change the equipment on the Hetzer, but we can't. Let's see. See the heat exchangers. There's some more battle armor handholds. Oh, actually, that reminds me. To the mech bay, because I said I was going to do this, and I keep forgetting to do it. So we're going to refit these mechs and put some handholds on there. So, number 1, get rid of the vehicle flamer. And in the meantime, we are going to... Where is... I don't know what type of weapon a flamer counts as. Okay, here we go. So we got these ER flamers. It's not going to do as much damage, but it is smaller, and it'll give us a little more range. So we can do that, and then we can throw BA handholds on this thing, and this will give our battle armor the opportunity to rodeo on one of our mechs to get a little bit closer. So that's only 3,300. It's going to take us a day to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
I'll let you know when that's done.
Because that is something that we have desperately needed for a while now. Actually, I may leave the vehicle flamer on this one for now, since we only have one squad of battle armor currently. We don't need 2 mechs with handholds. Then again, having 2 now wouldn't be a bad idea, so let's just go ahead and do it. It's not going to hurt much. Again, we're not really using the flamers for damage. We're using them for heat buildup. Oh, right. Underweight. I didn't even pay attention to that. And we can't put any more armor on this thing. We can't put any more jump jets on this thing. Alright, maybe we swap out some of the missile launchers? So let's see, we got an SRM-4. And we got an SRM-6. And I could put an MML on there instead, give ourselves a little more flexibility. Do that. So we go MML, which is the same tonnage. We're losing 1 missile per valley. But we can then... I know, is it worth it? Because then I could do MML here as well. Get ourselves another half-ton. I don't think I have any half-tons of ammo, though, do I? I don't. I'm pretty sure they had some in the shop, so let's back out real quick. Let's hit up the shop, because if they've got some half-tons of ammo, then I think that's our move. Let's see. So we got some Art of 4 half-ton. That's it. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Oh, well, hold on. Streak SRMs, but those are very expensive. Yeah, I saw that as well, Stu, and that's why I realized at the last minute, I said, hey, wait a minute. Maybe another flamer or an ER flamer? Well, no, because we only got the one mounting point. Never mind, that's not going to work either. Well, crap. This is one of those things where, like, it's a problem I didn't expect to have. Because I'm already maxed out the armor. I mean, so here's the thing about the Whitworth. I am fully aware of the fact that it is not meant to be a close-range mech. And I'm also fully aware of the fact that it's meant to be kind of a long-range support mech. And that it doesn't have a lot of armor, but because we don't have any brawlers currently in this company, I've kind of had to use them in that capacity because they have the highest armor of the mechs that we do have available. So it's one of those, you know, again, I've said before, it's one of my favorite parts of BattleTech, and especially Rogue Tech and BTA, is that, like, making the best of a bad situation. It might be worth it to... Is there any other additional equipment that we could potentially put in here? That's only a half-ton, because I can't put any more jump jets. We're already at the maximum jump jets. What about the Guardian ECM? That's 1.5 tons. What about the Beagle probe? Do we have... Now that's also 1.5 tons. Well, god dang it. Maybe... What do we have for lasers? Do I have something that's a half-ton that I could cram in the head? I guess I could upgrade one of these medium pulses to a large laser. But that's a huge difference in weight, too. So we're going to have the opposite problem doing that. Alright, so here's what I think we do. I think we stick a medium laser in the head because that's the last weapon mounting point, and then we drop a little bit of armor. Oh wow, that's all I needed to do was just drop one thing of armor. Okay, you know what? I'll take it. Sold.
Logged and noted.
And that will also inform our refit decision on this mech as well, since technically they're different model numbers, but for all intents and purposes, at least for what we're doing, they're identical. So then, yeah, we'll grab the ER Flamer here, and we will go into the equipment, put in the handholds. We will drop the 1 pip of armor on the rear torso, and we are good.
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
Wait a couple of days, and then we're in good shape. And hopefully the contracts don't roll over in that time. So command center, yeah. We got the battle in the desert. Yep, this is the one. All right. Well, then I think we are good to go. So I will, once again, it's a local pirate organization. Now that I'm looking at it, I think we'll do the same thing. We're going to go max salvage. And here, I need to go to the battle armor, and I think we hold shift. And then we'll just put them on the Whitworth. And I don't think... Yeah, we're not quite there in terms of unlocking the last vehicle slot, but when we do, then we'll be able to take the galleon as well. But yeah, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and deploy. I would like to think that I'm at least not the worst boss. I'm in fact the best boss. Again, that's what the sign in the barracks says, but I would like to think that I got here through merit and not, like, nepotism. I know in the vanilla game, that's effectively what happens. They say, oh yeah, I served with your dad. Come run our company for us. And I'm like, I know that's a thing in reality, but I'm not sure I would hire the commander of a private military organization based on nepotism and not based on skill or talent. I always kind of took issue with that little plot point as like, I'm not sure that I would follow someone into battle based on who their dad was, but it's also the BattleTech universe, so there's a lot of emphasis on that type of, chivalry and feudalism and inherited wealth and power and things like that, so it doesn't surprise me that happens in BattleTech, but it still kind of rubs me the wrong way. I would like to think that I got the job of being in charge because I actually know what I'm doing.